Hey Chase, so thanks for coming down again today. Okay, let's have a look what's going on here with your swing setup. Setup now looks really good. That's fantastic. Everything looks like it's balanced well. Looks like the weight's pretty even between your feet. Maybe a little bit too much weight in your toes here. We didn't really talk about it today, but I did notice it. So we could look at that, keep an eye on it. We need to have a little more weight. The centre of mass just sinking back a little bit away from the ball, a little more back in the middle of your feet here at setup. Now we've changed your grip and we're working on trying to flatten your swing here. Now we can see the takeaway has lost a little bit of what we were doing perfectly just a couple of days ago. So the feeling from there is that same feeling we've been talking about with the club up the wall and then rounding out behind you. Now when you get to the top up here, this is much better there. Disregarding the head of the club position, the head of the club and the shaft here is out of position because of the shaft rounding out too much early in the swing, which is going to cause it to bounce. However, the good point is now the shaft of the club and where it's finished up here is in a much better position. You have a much greater chance of getting the club to angle back down from the ball more from the inside, and we can actually get the shaft of the club to return back down more on top of the ball now, rather than before when it was so high. You know, last lesson when we came in, the top of your swing, the butt of the club was in this section up at about here. So you've improved it about 8 inches in the last 24 hours. That's a really good improvement. Of course, you know, the shots aren't quite going the direction you want at the moment. They're a bit a few mishits and a few misdirections, pulls mostly. That's to be expected with making a change like this. So you need to work on that drill where the club goes up the wall to the first 3 feet and then it rounds behind you still. That's an important drill for you now. And then we also need to get you working on those 4 drills we gave you for the left leg and left foot with your practice swings. With your other practice, the 20 balls with that practice and then 10 with this. So they might be up the wall and round behind you, those 10 balls. If the ball goes left, there's 2 reasons. 1, it's not flat enough back up here. 2, you haven't swung enough down the line here. So that's looking really good there through the ball.
I can't believe I'm hearing that.
Oh my God. Oh man.
Okay, front view now. So we've got you feeling like you're pushing your left hip a bit further forward. That looks great. Okay, everything else looks pretty good here. Okay, I've got a few angles here that we're not 100% into at the moment. Your head angle's moving off the ball a little bit too much. Your hips got a bit too much turn. That's also going to add to that starting position. So we'll look at that a little more in the future. At the moment, I want you to keep working on that drill with the club up the wall. I'm not too concerned about that. I want to try and work on the downswing next lesson. Now, it's actually, I'm going to say more the right arm, because at the moment, this right hand, it's too back in here close to your head and your body. We want to try and get it extending out away from you a little bit more, and I want to try and keep it extending away from you on the downswing, because everything gets too close in here. I want to try and get that club extending out there wider on the way down, and we're also going to give you a drill for that next time, but that's what we need to change. Now we're working obviously at the moment on your left leg and bracing more to your left leg. It's getting better. You can still see your left foot down here just swiveling off the ground a bit. It's not as much as it was, but still a little bit though. We're going to try and stop that from happening, get that left leg stronger. You can see here it's buckling and bowing from underneath you. We need to make it stronger so you hit against it more. Yet again, we're going to make it easier for this left leg to do what it needs to do, but for the time being, I want you to still work on it and try and get better with it. It's something that you need to get better with. Okay? Well done today, Chase. I'm going to do a short game session for you now too.